Hey, happy Monday. I'm back, not in my yoga clothes anymore. um, I didn't title this, but I'll title it afterwards. I wanted to talk a little bit about why community is so important. So, as you know, we have had an amazing nail biting, stressful yet relieving kind of weekend. And one of the things that I'm really clear about is without community coming together, we could not have the outcome that we had. And if you agree with that, you can type in the chat box. But it was not one person alone, but it was definitely a community. And I want to talk a little bit about how that is impactful in general in our personal development as well. I've been a physician for many years. I know that I may look young, but I've been practicing for over 15 years. And before I transitioned out of clinical medicine, and I was in a specialty that back when I started back in 2004 was not popular. I'm an integrative medicine doc, which means I marry traditional medicine with more holistic medicine. And when I started, and I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia, for those of you who do not know, when I started, integrative medicine was not a thing. It was just getting started, right? So it wasn't a thing. Out in California where, all of they do all of the holistic stuff all the time, that was a thing. But in Atlanta, Georgia, integrative or holistic medicine was not a thing, okay? And so largely what ended up happening was because my colleagues did not see what I saw in it, I ended up isolating myself quite a bit. And I went about practice for about 10 years, isolated from the physician community, isolated from many communities. I did find some communities, but I will say that as I began to delve into personal growth, as I began to feel like I needed to do something more, I needed to get bigger than the immediate space around me, as I realized that my reach was very limited by myself, I began to open up to what are the communities out there that can not only empower me, but I can be a contribution to as well. Because we know, for those of you out there who are in industries of service or entrepreneurs or, really trying to shine a light on the world, being a part of community is only as good as you being able to contribute to it. Am I right? And what I found is that, as I began to join various spiritual communities, personal development, mindset communities, business communities, that not only did I grow from a mindset standpoint, from a personal standpoint, but I also began to produce different kinds of results in my life, attracted different kind of relationships, and exploded my practice, my business, because I began to know, number one, who I was and find my voice. Even though I was finding it inside of a community, I was finding it personally. I was finding it in the world. So I would find this voice inside a community and test it out in the world. And that is the importance of community and personal development. And especially when it comes to mindset, especially when it comes to really developing the conversations that not only that we have with other people, the conversations that we have with ourselves. Because I don't know if you know this, but inside your mind, sometimes by itself can be a very dangerous place to be. It could be a very slippery slope if you don't have the practices in place, if you don't have people that you can call to sort of pull you off that slippery slope or to pull you out of the rabbit hole as you're going down, who can hear that in your tone of voice, who can see it in your behavior patterns. If you don't have those people around you, if you don't have that community around you, then your mind by itself is a very dangerous place to be. And so in the world of personal development, a lot of times, and especially as women, as professional women, as strong Black women, as strong Black men, and we highly trained people, we want to do it ourselves. We want to read a book. We want to, take a course, which is great. We want to watch. Now these days we got technology. So you listen to an audio book, you listen to a podcast, and all of these things can be very empowering, very helpful, and can move you in a direction. However, when it's one way, when it's just the listening coming in, but you're not out there practicing it in a community of people who are doing the same thing, who can listen the same way or listen even above that, right? Then you're doing yourself a disservice. You're not able to move as fast and as far as you could if you were inside a community developing, right? And I learned that, about 10 years ago when I really started delving into my personal development inside a community, not just self-help, because let's break that down. Self-help is very isolated. And for me, I was a huge self-help junkie. And there's nothing wrong with that. By the way, there's nothing wrong with that. But I found that once I got to a certain point in my development, I couldn't coach myself anymore. I couldn't, because there's blind spots. So once I got to a certain place, I needed community to reflect back to me the things that I was saying or not saying, or reflect back to me the behavior patterns that I kept running into that I maybe didn't recognize that was standing in my way. And then when I started getting those things reflected back to me in the form of community, in the form of hiring a coach, of course, coaches are very beneficial. Community masterminds are very beneficial as well. When I started getting involved in things like that, then I started pushing beyond the boundaries that I knew myself to be. Right? People, I would say, I'm doing this, and they'd say, go a little bit further. And I'd be scared to death. But guess what? I'm coachable. So I would go a little bit further. And then I would come to know myself in a new way. But that could never have happened in isolation. So I wanted to just come on today to, really empower you all to make sure that you have not only a committed listener, but a committed listening community. And you all know that's why I started the Mind Remapping Nation, is to provide that committed listening community. So of course, I'm going to drop the link, or the link's actually in the bio. The link is in the bio, mindremappingnation.com. It's a place where you can come be a part of a community specifically around shifting mindset, specifically around learning a new language of empowerment that allows you to really activate the law of attraction and create life that you design because you say so. All right. And coming up, I'm going to announce on Thursday, we're having a challenge inside of the community called the Create with Gratitude Challenge. And I'm super excited about it because gratitude is one of my favorite tools. It's a tool that I use every single day to create, to not only give thanks, right? Because of course it is so important to give thanks, but also to create and open the space for abundance. Because there's a certain way that you can approach gratitude that will actually open the space for you to receive that which you're trying to create, right? And so that's what the Create with Gratitude Challenge is all about. We're coming up on Thanksgiving, so I had to do it. It's a 14-day challenge. We're going to start on Thursday. So if you want to join us in the challenge, you better come hang out with us at the Mind Remapping Nation. And of course, it's mindremappingnation.com. The link's in the bio. But I'm going to show you not only the way, a different way to approach gratitude, but we'll talk about, like, every day I'm going to give you a vitamin around gratitude, but how to understand the relationship between gratitude and metaphysics, gratitude and abundance, and how to really look at positive expectation, how that relates to gratitude, and then how to formulate expectant gratitude in a way that has things show up in your life. So with that, I say thank you for listening today. I wanted to bring this message of community because we're in a space where now more than ever community matters, right? We have a victory and there is so much work to do. And the work starts at the level of the individual so that we can then one by one teach and empower each other and elevate ourselves and continue to break glass ceilings until there are no more. Yes? Yes? Type it in the chat box. So thank you for being a part of my community and for allowing me to contribute to you, because look, in this nation, in this mind remapping nation, in this community, you are just as much of a contribution as anyone else. And that's why we want you to be in the community with us. So you all have an amazing rest of the day. Remember, yes, we are better together. Community is necessary. And, you know, like one of my favorite African proverbs says, you can, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, you go together. Okay. So stay tuned. Thursday, I'll announce more about the Gratitude Challenge. And if you want to join, you can just come to the Mind Remapping Nation and you can be a part of that. All right. See you on Thursday. Have a great one. Namaste.